you learned all the pH, color chart, and you have done the exercise questions based on it. Now comes the next thing, that is application of pH in day-to-day life. Okay, why we have to learn it? What is it applied in the human life? Okay, now I'm going to teach you about the main 5 application of pH in day-to-day life. The first one is application of pH in digestive system. You know that hydrochloric acid is being released in our stomach. A strong acid which is released in our stomach, which is used for digestion of food. Okay, but when the release of hydrochloric acid increases in our stomach, okay, the food get undigested. Okay, at that time what happens is we will get pain in our stomach, irritation, burning sensation, and that condition we say it as acidity. You must have heard people complaining about acidity, burning sensation. It is because of more hydrochloric acid produced in our body, in our stomach mainly. So how to solve it? What is the remedy for that? Anything, an acid is there, we have to neutralize by using a base. Now acid is produced in the stomach. How to neutralize? We have to give some basic solutions, like mainly we use ENO, or you must have heard about antacid tablets. Antacid means anti-acid, means it is base, and mainly this contains milk of magnesia. Milk of magnesia, the formula is magnesium hydroxide, MgOH taken twice. It is milk of magnesia, it's a mild base, edible base, and that is what we are drinking or consuming, so that acidity decreases. Even ENO contains sodium bicarbonate, which is also a base. So this is the first application of pH which is used in digestive system. Second one you can think about in our mouth. In our mouth what happens? When we eat food, mainly sweet, it gets broken down into some other form which produces acid in our mouth. Okay, now the acid content increases. If we won't clean our mouth, acid contents increases inside our mouth, and when it is becoming less than 5.5, what will happen is this acid starts corroding the enamel of the teeth. You know that white color enamel, it is actually calcium phosphate. Enamel is calcium phosphate, and it gets corroded by the acid produced inside the mouth. So normally what we have to do is, we have to clean our mouth whenever after having the food. Okay, otherwise we have to brush our teeth. For example, any toothpaste contains base, which can neutralize the acid produced on the teeth or inside the mouth. So this is how pH is applied in our mouth. Now the third application you can say in soil, that is plants and animals you can think about. First I will talk about soil, or means plants, how they survive. Okay. Now soil, normally it should be neutral. Neutral means what should be the pH value? Yes, it should be almost 7. Sometimes the pH becomes less than 7. That means the soil becomes acidic. Then we say acidic soil. And if it is more than 7, more than 9 and all, then we say it as basic soil. Okay. Now whenever it is acidic soil, the plants cannot grow in a proper manner. So what you have to do? We have to neutralize the acidity. How to neutralize? By adding base. What is the base normally we use is quicklime. Heard about quicklime? Quicklime is calcium oxide, or you can use chalk, that is calcium carbonate, limestone, or you can use lime, that is calcium hydroxide. All these are basic in nature. So this powder we have to dissolve in water, make it a solution and add to the soil, so that the acidity of the soil gets neutralized. Fine children. Now coming to basic soil. If the soil is basic, we have to neutralize by adding certain acid. What we have to add? We have to add in the form of manure, compost. These are all acidic in nature and definitely they will neutralize the basic soil. So these are the two ways. If it is acidic soil, add some base in the form of lime, and if it is a basic soil, add manure and compost which can neutralize the basicity of the soil. In the same way, in water, that is aquatic plants and animals, aquatic animals and plants, what will happen to them? Now in river, in pond, all along with the rain, sometimes you must have heard about acid rain. When the pollution increases, the gases in the atmosphere is more, like sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, all this, it can react with the rainwater and produces some acid like sulfurous acid, nitrous acid, and these acid along with the rainwater comes and dissolve in river water, pond water, lake, all this, and which is very harmful for the aquatic animals. They cannot survive in acid water. They can survive only in neutral water. So if ever it is more acidic, the water become more and more acidic, again we have to neutralize by using certain base. What are the bases normally we use for soil? Like the same way, we can dissolve this lime, all this, and pour it in water so that the water gets neutralized or the acidity decreases. Is it clear, children? This is the third application in soil and in aquatic and when the fourth application what we are talking about is the honeybee or the ant. When it bites a person, what will happen? Now honeybee, whenever it bites a person or stings a person, it releases a sting which contains acid. Normally it is a combination of methanoic acid and other acids. Now it releases that acid. That is the reason we get severe pain, irritation. Okay, so what we have to do? We have to rub the place where the honeybee has stung, that place we have to rub with a base. Isn't it? Acid has been released, so we have to neutralize with a base. And what is a home remedy is, in your home we will be having something called baking soda. Baking soda is the best example of a base. NaHCO3, sodium hydrogen carbonate or sodium bicarbonate. Now for honeybee or ant sting, ant bite, anything, we have to rub it with baking soda because both releases acid. Okay, ant is releasing formic acid and even honeybee, combination of many acids it is. That's why honeybee give more pain. Honeybee sting gives more pain. Now, if you must have heard about the insect named wasp. Wasp is another insect. Whenever it bites, it releases a base, alkali. Okay, so the home remedy to neutralize a base is an acid. Which acid is available at home? Vinegar is the best example because it contains acetic acid. So whenever wasp bites you, you have to rub the place with vinegar so that the basicity released by wasp can be neutralized. Another one is not very common, but you must have heard about it. Nettle plant. Nettle plant is in a wild, in the forest only you can see those plants. It has a thorn-like thing. So any person by mistake touches the plant, it releases acid. Okay, so there also we have to neutralize with a base. And the nature has created one dog plant. It will be grown near the nettle plant so that from the dog plant the leaves we can take out which is actually base, and it can neutralize the nettle plant, that toxic which has been released, acidic toxic. So this is how the nature, this is self-defense by animals and plants. Like whenever a honeybee by mistake we touch it, what is the defense it will do is it will releases an acid so that people moves away from it. So this is how the pH indicators has been applied for self-defense by plants and animals. So these all, based on all this, there will be many questions which you can see in the exercise questions. Please try to solve all those, read the textbook thoroughly and try to understand. If ever any doubts you have, please note it down and then once you come back to school, we will be talking about it or clarifying all your doubts. Thank you.